Have you ever wondered what the Model Code of Conduct is and why it's important for elections in India? This intriguing question takes us back to the assembly elections in Kerala in the year 1960. Here, the Model Code of Conduct was birthed, and since then, it has evolved into a pivotal part of the electoral process. This set of conventions is unanimously agreed upon by all stakeholders involved in the electoral process. It's not just a document. It's a promise to the citizens of India, a promise of orderly, transparent, and peaceful elections, a promise that the state machinery and financial resources will not be misused by those in power. Even though it doesn't have statutory backing, the Model Code of Conduct has been upheld by the Supreme Court multiple times, testifying to its significance. So, the Model Code of Conduct is not just a set of rules, but a beacon of order and transparency in the Indian electoral process. But what exactly does the Model Code of Conduct aim to do, and what are its guidelines? The Model Code of Conduct, commonly referred to as the MCC, is truly the backbone of free and fair elections in India. It's a set of conventions that have been unanimously agreed upon by all stakeholders involved in the electoral process. These stakeholders range from the political parties and candidates themselves to the voters and the Election Commission. The primary objective of the MCC is to ensure that campaigns, polling, and counting proceed in an organized, transparent, and peaceful manner. It sets the ground rules for political parties and candidates, guiding them on what they can and cannot do. The MCC ensures that the electoral battlefield is level and that all players have an equal opportunity to make their case to the voters. But the MCC goes beyond just setting the rules for campaigns and elections. It also serves as a mechanism to curb any misuse of state machinery and financial resources by the ruling party. For instance, it prohibits ministers and other authorities from making financial commitments or announcing any new projects once the elections are announced. This is to prevent the ruling party from using its position of power to sway voters in its favor. Despite its crucial role in ensuring free and fair elections, the MCC does not possess any statutory backing. That means it's not a law passed by the Parliament. However, its importance and relevance have been upheld by the Supreme Court on multiple occasions. The court has recognized that the MCC is essential for maintaining the integrity of the electoral process. But it's not just the Supreme Court that gives the MCC its teeth. It's also the Election Commission of India, which is tasked with enforcing the MCC. The Commission has the power to take action against any party or candidate that violates the MCC, ensuring that its guidelines are adhered to. Thus, the Model Code of Conduct plays a crucial role in maintaining the integrity of elections in India. It helps to ensure that elections are conducted in a fair, free, and peaceful manner, providing every candidate with an equal opportunity to reach out to the voters. So the next time you hear about the MCC during election season, you'll know just how important it is. Now that we know the purpose and guidelines of the Model Code of Conduct, let's delve into what activities are prohibited after its implementation. The Model Code of Conduct, or MCC, is more than just a set of rules. It's a code of conduct, a guidebook, if you will, that sets the tone for how elections should be conducted in our democracy. It's a commitment all stakeholders make to ensure the process is fair, transparent, and above board. But what happens when this code is violated? What are the prohibitions under the MCC? First off, once elections are announced, authorities, including ministers, are barred from announcing any financial grants or making commitments. The election panel's guidelines are crystal clear on this point. The idea is to prevent any potential misuse of power to sway voters. Simultaneously, the authorities are restricted from laying foundation stones or initiating any kind of projects or schemes. This prohibition extends to everyone except civil servants. The rationale behind this rule is to prevent the ruling party from announcing schemes that might potentially influence voters. Also, the MCC prohibits the use of official machinery for campaign purposes. Ministers cannot mix official visits with electioneering activities. This ensures that the line between governance and politics is not blurred during the election period. Continuing on this theme, the use of official machinery or personnel for electioneering purposes is strictly forbidden. Once the elections are announced, ministers and other authorities cannot sanction grants or payments from discretionary funds. This restriction is applied to ensure that public resources are not misused for personal or party gains. In addition, government accommodations are not to be used as campaign offices or for holding public meetings for election propaganda. This rule is put in place to ensure that public properties are not misused for partisan activities. Furthermore, the Election Commission of India, the body that oversees the elections, puts a prohibition on the issuance of advertisements at the cost of the public exchequer during the election period. This stops the ruling party from using public funds for their own publicity, thereby ensuring fairness. Finally, the MCC guidelines state that the misuse of official mass media for partisan coverage of political news and publicity regarding achievements that favor the ruling party should be strictly avoided. This prohibition ensures that the ruling party does not use the state-controlled media to its advantage, thus maintaining a level playing field. Therefore, the Model Code of Conduct ensures a level playing field for all political parties during elections. It's not just about rules and prohibitions, but about creating a fair and balanced environment where the best ideas, not the biggest wallets or the loudest voices, win the day. It's about fostering a political culture that values dignity, respect, and above all, democracy. So, to recap what we've discussed so far, the Model Code of Conduct, tracing its roots back to the 1960 Assembly elections in Kerala, serves as a set of unanimously agreed conventions by all stakeholders in the electoral process. Its main goal? To ensure that campaigns, polling, and counting proceed in an orderly, transparent, and peaceful manner. It also curbs any misuse of state machinery and financial resources by the ruling party. Although it lacks statutory backing, it has been upheld by the Supreme Court on multiple occasions. Once implemented, it places several restrictions on ministers and other authorities. Among these are the prohibition of announcing financial grants or making commitments, the restriction of initiating projects or schemes, and the misuse of official machinery for campaign purposes. Furthermore, the use of government accommodations for campaigning and the issuance of advertisements at the cost of the public exchequer are strictly forbidden. In conclusion, the Model Code of Conduct serves as a critical tool in ensuring free, fair, and peaceful elections in India, setting a high standard of conduct for all stakeholders involved in the electoral process.